Or 3:44 a.m. Tel Aviv time. Mossad headquarters receives satellite confirmation. Uranium enrichment at Fordow facility reaches 84% purity, 3 percentage points below weapons-grade threshold. Intelligence assessment projects 21 days until Iran achieves nuclear weapons capability. The window for preventive military action closes with each centrifuge rotation. Israeli War Cabinet convenes emergency session within 18 minutes. This is Global Conflict Room, where global war decisions are made. So 4:02 a.m., Military Intelligence Directorate presents operational timeline. Natanz facility operates 3,000 advanced IR-6 centrifuges. Fordow underground complex reinforced with concrete and earth overburden. Isfahan conversion facility stockpiles uranium hexafluoride. Parchin site suspected of weaponization research. Iraq heavy water reactor produces plutonium pathway. The network represents distributed redundancy designed to survive partial strikes. Israeli Air Force maintains strike packages for each facility. Mission planning updated continuously for 5 years. 04:29 a.m. Washington time. Secure call connects White House and Jerusalem. Israeli Prime Minister informs American President of enrichment status. Request made for bunker-penetrating munitions and aerial refueling support. American position remains diplomatic engagement preferred over military action. Intelligence community assessment suggests Iran still months away from weaponization, despite enrichment progress. The gap between Israeli and American threat perception creates alliance tension. Prime Minister emphasizes sovereign right to self-defense against existential threat. President warns of regional war consequences. No agreement reached. 06:15 Tel Aviv time. Israeli cabinet debates 3 options. Option 1, immediate unilateral strike against all nuclear facilities. Option 2, limited strike against Fordow enrichment site only. Option 3, coordinate with United States for joint operation within diplomatic framework. Defense Minister advocates immediate action before technical window closes. Foreign Minister warns of international isolation without American support. Intelligence chief notes Saudi Arabia quietly signaled willingness to permit overflight through their airspace. The private Saudi position contradicts public statements, but reflects shared concern over Iranian nuclear capability. What should command do first? A. Intercept. B. Strike back. C. Hold fire. The decision matrix contains no satisfactory outcomes. Unilateral strike guarantees Israeli security, but risks international condemnation and American alliance strain. Waiting for American agreement allows enrichment to continue. Limited strike might slow program without triggering full regional war. Each option carries catastrophic risk in different dimensions. Wargame simulations show Iranian retaliation through Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Syria and Iraq, Houthi attacks from Yemen, and potential closure of Strait of Hormuz. Global Conflict Room analysts assess 72 hours as maximum decision window before enrichment reaches irreversible status. 08:47 a.m. Riyadh time. Saudi intelligence service transmits coded message to Mossad counterparts. Northern air corridor available for limited duration. Time window specified as 3-day period, beginning in 48 hours. Restriction imposed. No Saudi territory used for basing or recovery operations. Transit only. The offer represents extraordinary shift in regional dynamics, where Sunni Arab states calculate Iranian nuclear capability as greater threat than historical Israeli antagonism. Intelligence sharing and tactical cooperation occur through unofficial channels, maintaining plausible deniability. Israeli mission planners incorporate Saudi airspace into strike routing. Flight time reduced by 37 minutes. Fuel requirements decreased, allowing greater weapons payload. What happens next determines the next decade. 11:20 a.m. Tehran time. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps intelligence detects unusual activity. Israeli F-35 training sorties increase frequency. Satellite reconnaissance shows munitions movement at Nevatim and Ramon air bases. Tanker aircraft conduct extended flight operations. IRGC command assesses indicators suggest imminent strike possibility. Supreme Leader convenes National Security Council. Military commanders recommend dispersing nuclear material to undisclosed locations. Scientists accelerate enrichment schedule to reach weapons grade before potential attack. Air defense forces placed on maximum alert status. The Iranian response to intelligence indicators paradoxically increases urgency for Israeli action. By accelerating the enrichment timeline commanders seek to prevent. 02:33 p.m. Tel Aviv time. Israeli Air Force finalizes mission profile. Package includes 40 F-35I stealth fighters and 60 F-15I strike aircraft. GBU-57 bunker penetrators allocated for Fordow facility. GBU-31 precision munitions designated for above-ground targets. Electronic warfare aircraft assigned to suppress Iranian air defenses. Aerial refueling positioned along ingress and egress routes. Mission duration calculated at 11 hours, including contingencies. Aircrew briefings scheduled for 0:30. Cabinet must authorize mission execution within 18 hours to maintain operational timeline. Defense Minister presents final assessment. Strike probability of success against Fordow rated 73%. Natanz destruction confidence 91%. Isfahan facility elimination near certain. Overall program delay estimated 18 to 36 months, depending on Iranian reconstruction capability and international response. Civilian casualties projected in low dozens if strikes occur during night shift operations. Regional war probability assessed at 68%. Necessary deterrence or dangerous escalation. The question divides Israeli strategic community. Hawks argue nuclear-armed Iran represents existential threat, justifying any action preventing that outcome. Doves warn military strike provides temporary delay, while guaranteeing Iranian determination to acquire weapons and regional war triggering unknown consequences. Historical precedent proves inconclusive. Israeli strikes destroyed Iraqi Osirak reactor in 1981 and Syrian facility in 2007 without triggering major wars. Iran represents vastly more capable adversary with extensive regional proxy networks and retaliatory options. The unprecedented scope of potential Iranian response makes outcome prediction impossible based on previous operations. 18:47 p.m. Washington time. CIA delivers updated assessment to National Security Council. Iranian enrichment acceleration detected. Timeline to weapons-grade capability revised downward to 14 days. Intelligence confirms IRGC dispersing nuclear material to backup locations. Window for effective strike shrinking rapidly. Secretary of Defense recommends American military support for Israeli operation if decision made to proceed. Secretary of State advocates final diplomatic effort through European intermediaries. National Security Advisor presents framework for limited American role, providing intelligence and aerial refueling without direct combat participation. President faces decision balancing non-proliferation objectives against regional stability concerns and domestic political calculations. Which system activates first in a missile alert? A. Radar. B. Satellites. C. Command link. Modern integrated air defense networks employ layered sensor architecture. Iran operates Russian S-300 systems around nuclear facilities. Early warning radar provides long-range detection. Mobile units create overlapping coverage zones. Command networks integrate data from multiple sources. Israeli aircraft employ sophisticated electronic countermeasures and flight profiles designed to minimize radar exposure. Stealth technology reduces, but does not eliminate detection possibility. Mission success depends on achieving surprise and overwhelming air defenses before effective response coordination. The technical challenge reflects broader strategic competition between offensive capabilities and defensive systems. 22:15 p.m. Tel Aviv time. War Cabinet reaches decision. Operation authorized for execution within 72-hour window. American administration informed, but not requesting permission. Saudi Arabia receives confirmation of intended timeline. Mission proceeds regardless of American position, but optimized if refueling support provided. Military command receives authorization to strike all primary targets: Fordow, Natanz, Isfahan, Parchin, Iraq. Secondary targets include IRGC command centers and missile facilities capable of retaliating against Israeli territory. Rules of engagement emphasize precision to minimize civilian casualties while ensuring facility destruction. Prime Minister addresses nation in pre-recorded message scheduled for broadcast after first bomb's impact. If you follow global conflict analysis, type GCR. 01:33 a.m. mission launch time. Nevatim Air Base. 40 F-35I aircraft begin takeoff sequence. Each fighter carries 2 GBU-31 precision bombs and full air-to-air loadout. The stealth fighters will penetrate Iranian airspace first, suppressing air defenses and striking Fordow underground facility. Ramon Air Base launches 60 F-15I strike aircraft 15 minutes later. These conventional fighters carry heavy bunker-penetrating weapons for above-ground facilities. Electronic warfare aircraft activate jamming systems, creating corridors through Iranian radar coverage. Aerial tankers position along Saudi border for refueling operations. The largest Israeli Air Force combat operation in history proceeds in total communications silence. Global Conflict Room tracks parallel developments. American satellites monitor aircraft movement. CENTCOM positions assets for potential support or evacuation operations. Iranian air defense networks scan for incoming threats. Hezbollah forces in Lebanon receive preparatory orders for rocket attacks on northern Israel. Regional militias in Syria and Iraq mobilize. Oil markets detect unusual activity patterns suggesting imminent crisis. Insurance rates for Persian Gulf spike in after-hours trading. The operational indicators precede actual combat by hours, demonstrating impossibility of strategic surprise in modern surveillance environment. 03847. Crossing Iranian airspace. Lead F-35 elements penetrate air defense identification zone. Iranian radar systems detect anomalous returns, but cannot achieve targeting lock on stealth aircraft. IRGC Air Defense Command recognizes attack in progress. Fighter scramble orders issued. S-300 batteries activate engagement radar. The Iranian response follows established protocols, but decision timeline compressed by limited warning. Israeli electronic warfare aircraft overwhelm command networks with sophisticated jamming. Iranian fighters climb toward intercept positions, but lack targeting data for engagement. Air defense missiles launch on general vectors without specific target acquisition. The technology gap between offensive stealth capability and defensive sensor networks becomes operationally decisive in opening minutes of engagement. 4:02 a.m. Fordow facility. GBU-57 bunker penetrators impact mountain above underground enrichment halls. Delayed fuses allow penetration through rock and concrete before detonation. Sequential explosions collapse reinforced chambers. Centrifuge cascades destroyed. Enriched uranium stockpiles buried under rubble. Surface facilities erupt in secondary explosions as backup power systems rupture. Iranian personnel in underground facility have zero warning before impact. Casualties estimated at 47 technicians and security personnel on night shift. Israeli aircraft egress before Iranian air defenses coordinate effective response. Natanz facility struck simultaneously. Multiple buildings housing centrifuge halls receive precision strikes. Above-ground structures offer less protection than Fordow installation. Destruction more complete. Isfahan conversion facility targeted with focus on uranium hexafluoride production capability. Parchin weaponization research site struck to eliminate bomb design infrastructure. Arak heavy water reactor receives limited strike-damaging cooling systems without breaching containment vessel. The distributed attack across 5 sites occurs within 18-minute window. 04:24 a.m. Tehran time. Supreme Leader receives notification of attacks. IRGC command confirms destruction of primary nuclear facilities. Casualty reports incomplete, but initial estimates exceed 100 killed. National Security Council convenes emergency session. Military commanders present retaliation options. Hezbollah stands ready to launch 10,000 rockets into Israel. Iraqi militias prepared to strike American bases. Houthi forces can attack Saudi oil infrastructure. IRGC missile forces target Israeli cities and regional American military installations. Iranian conventional military lacks capability for direct engagement with Israeli forces, but asymmetric response options extensive. Supreme Leader orders measured retaliation, avoiding actions that would justify sustained American military intervention while demonstrating Iranian resolve and capability. 5:47. Northern Israel. Air raid sirens activate across border communities. Hezbollah rocket barrage begins. 340 rockets impact within first hour. Iron Dome intercepts majority, but some penetrate defenses. Civilian casualties occur in Haifa and smaller towns. Israeli artillery responds with counter-battery fire into southern Lebanon. Israeli Air Force strikes Hezbollah rocket launchers and command centers. The exchange represents limited escalation rather than full-scale war. Both sides calibrate violence to demonstrate capability without triggering uncontrollable escalation spiral. Regional militia attacks occur against American forces in Iraq and Syria. Casualties light, damage minimal. American response limited to defensive measures. Persian Gulf remains open, oil facilities undamaged. The Iranian retaliation stays within boundaries, preventing American combat intervention while saving face domestically. 9:20 a.m. Washington time. President addresses nation. Speech confirms American intelligence sharing supported Israeli operation. Justification emphasizes preventing nuclear proliferation. Warning issued to Iran against escalation. Commitment stated to defend regional allies and maintain freedom of navigation. Diplomatic outreach begins to European allies and regional partners. The American position attempts to balance support for Israeli action against Iranian nuclear program with limitation of broader regional war. International reaction divides predictably. European allies express concern over military action preference versus diplomatic resolution. Gulf Arab states privately support strike while publicly condemning violation of sovereignty. Russia and China denounce attack as aggression. United Nations Security Council debates resolution but achieves no consensus. 14:33 p.m. assessment phase. Israeli intelligence evaluates strike effectiveness. Fordow facility destroyed with 94% confidence. Natanz requires follow-up strikes for complete elimination. Isfahan conversion capability eliminated. Iranian nuclear program set back minimum 24 months, maximum 48 months, depending on reconstruction resources and political will. Casualty count stabilizes at 112 Iranian personnel killed, 63 wounded. Israeli losses include 2 F-15 aircraft shot down by air defenses, 4 aircrew missing, presumed captured, 3 Israeli civilians killed by Hezbollah rockets. The operational outcome achieves primary objectives at acceptable cost by military calculation. Strategic consequences remain uncertain. What decision would you make in that room? Was the strike justified as preventive self-defense against existential nuclear threat or reckless aggression risking regional catastrophe? Could diplomatic engagement have achieved similar results without military action? Who bears responsibility for casualties and regional destabilization? The Iran nuclear facility scenario demonstrates compressed decision timelines where intelligence assessment drives military action before diplomatic alternatives exhaust. Commanders balance technical strike windows against strategic consequences. Political leaders choose between unilateral action and alliance coordination. The scenario shows modern preventive war calculations where immediate security threats conflict with long-term regional stability and where technical military capability enables options that strategic wisdom might question. Subscribe to Global Conflict Room, inside the room where history changes.